You're about to learn the hidden law that keeps you stuck in life, as well as how to beat it. Quickly, my name is Sam. I make videos about practical psychology. My videos aim to teach people how to think clearly and overcome procrastination and laziness through cultivating self-awareness. Now, even though I make videos about topics like this, I'm not perfect. 5 months ago, I actually went through a bit of a rut myself. This was a time in my life where I stopped eating clean, I stopped working out on a regular basis, actually stopped uploading to this YouTube channel as regularly as I would normally upload. It was an interesting time because I observed a pattern in my life that I've been aware of for quite a long time actually now. And the pattern that I observed once again in my life was this, and maybe you can relate to it. First, I get really sick and tired of where I'm at in my life. So I decide to make a change. I gain initial momentum with that new habit, with that new change. But then, what happens just as I'm starting to see some results, I fall off track. I lose momentum. And ultimately, I divert back to my old reality. I go back into my old ways. And the cycle repeats itself again and again and again. Now, I got really curious. What happens here? What happens between gaining that initial momentum with a change that you've tried to make and falling off track? What happens here? What causes us to fall off track in life? And that's what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to cover the hidden law that pushes us off track in life and how to overcome it, so that we can transform this cycle into something that looks like this. We make a change, we gain momentum with that new change, we actually stick with it, and we ultimately get the result that we want, and then we get to the next level. We see the next level emerge in front of us, and then we make a new change based on that. So it's an upward spiral instead of this yo-yo effect going up and down, not making any real progress. So let's dive into it. The hidden law that keeps you stuck in life is the law of entropy. You might have heard of this concept before. It comes from physics, and it describes how systems naturally tend toward disorder and chaos unless energy is applied to maintain the order. Now, that's quite abstract, so let's get into a few tangible examples of how this applies to the natural world. For example, if you leave a clean room unattended for a while, it naturally will become messier and messier. This happens without any effort. To keep it clean, you have to regularly organize it. So without energy to maintain it, the room falls into disorder. Another good example of entropy is melting ice. If you take an ice cube out of a freezer, it will over time melt into water. The structured form of the ice slowly breaks down into a less organized state, which we call a liquid. Now this happens naturally, and it shows how things tend to move towards disorder unless something, like in this case freezing, prevents it from occurring. Great, so you might be asking, why the hell are we talking about a random physics concept? What's this got to do with staying consistent in life? Well, entropy applies to our lives just as much as it applies to the physical world. For instance, when we stop putting attention and energy toward a goal, let's say it's a fitness goal, things will naturally start falling apart. We lose the progress that we made. So if you don't actively go to the gym, obviously you're going to start losing the muscle that you had gained. So we are subject to entropy just as much as any other physical system in the universe. So the problem we face is that when we make a new change, when we start a new habit, the novelty of it keeps us going. It keeps us excited and engaged, right? When it's a new thing that we're doing, it initially feels really easy and exciting to do. But gradually over time, as the novelty wears off, we start to lose focus and we stop applying as much energy and effort into it. And this is where we fall off track. This is where entropy kicks in. So entropy is at the cause of us falling off track in life. Now, the key here is now we need to figure out, how do we avoid entropy? How do we make sure that we don't lose the progress we're making in our lives and succumb to the forces of the universe? That's a big question. Now, what we could do is we could just keep applying energy and willpower and discipline and motivation toward the goal that we're trying to achieve or the change we're trying to make. And that can certainly work in the short term. But there's a problem with this strategy. And the main problem is energy, willpower, motivation. These are all finite resources and they fluctuate. Right? You're not always disciplined. You're not always motivated. You're not always full of energy and to tackle your goal. It would be amazing if we were, but that's just not realistic. So we need a different strategy. And this is where we can look into nature to see how does nature solve the problem of entropy. So here we have a spider. Now the spider's main two goals are to survive and reproduce. And the way the spider survives is by eating its food. This is the prey that the spider hunts and captures and then eats for lunch. Now, what a spider could do is it could try to exert energy and willpower and run around chasing these little guys, right? That's what a spider could do. But we all know that that's not how a spider catches its prey. The way a spider catches its lunch is by creating a web. So a spider doesn't waste time. It doesn't waste energy catching its prey by running around and chasing them. It instead builds a web and lets it do the work for it. So that's the strategy a spider uses. In other words, the spider creates a system. It creates a system to solve its problem and achieve its goal. In the same way, your goals need a system to prevent things from falling into disorder. Once you set up the system, it frees up your energy and allows you to stay on track, stay consistent, without needing to apply as much energy and willpower. So the key here is that it's not really about fighting harder. It's not even about putting in more motivation, more willpower, more energy, because those things fluctuate. It's important to use them as fuel, but don't rely on them fully because they are finite resources. It's all about setting up a system. Set up a system that keeps you moving forward even when you don't feel like it. The reality is, without systems, entropy will win. Nature will naturally pull you towards what's the most comfortable, what's the easiest way, what's the path of least resistance. And if you're trying to make a change in your life, this is going to be a big problem for you. Right, so here's an example of how I've used systems in my own life to achieve one of my goals. So this summer, I set a goal for myself to get into the best shape of my life. And I've had this goal for a long time, honestly. For the last 4 or 5 years, I've had the goal of getting into great shape. And what's basically happened over the last 4 or 5 years is I've been making some progress in the gym and then falling off track, making some progress again, then falling off track. And so again, I've had this yo-yo effect, haven't made any real consistent progress, haven't really achieved the result that I wanted. And so I wanted to do something different this time. So I decided to apply systems thinking into figuring out how to get into great shape. I realized that there's really 3 problems that are preventing me from achieving my goal. And the 3 problems I had were, number 1, I had no structure in my workouts. I was just going to the gym and working out whatever I felt like. Problem number 2 was I was inconsistent with eating, so I wasn't getting enough calories in throughout the day. I wasn't getting enough protein. And the third problem I had was I just had a lack of accountability. I didn't really know if I was making progress or not. I wasn't tracking anything, and so this wasn't very motivating for me. So I decided I'm going to use systems to solve my problems. So I came up with 3 systems to solve the 3 problems I had. System number 1 was I used ChatGPT to make myself a detailed 2-month workout plan. I gave ChatGPT my goal. I told it exactly what I want to do and what kind of workouts I want to have, how many times a week I want to be training. And it gave me a really detailed, great plan for working out. And I could basically use ChatGPT as a personal fitness coach to help me make progress in the gym. So that was my first system. The second system I used was I did some research and I came up with the best kind of protein shake for my body and the goal that I had in the gym. So I did a lot of research and I came up with this one shake that I could make every morning. I had all the ingredients ready every morning, so all it took was just blending up the ingredients and drinking the shake each morning. And this way, I solved like a big part of my problem with inconsistent eating and not getting enough calories in. The third system I put into place was a workout tracking system. So in the gym, what I started doing was I started tracking the amount of weight I was bench pressing, deadlifting. Basically, I was tracking my progress in the gym so that I knew exactly what's working and what isn't working. And if something wasn't working, I could easily identify it and I could change the routine to make it work. So these were the systems that I applied, and the result was I got into the shape that I wanted. I give you this as an example because I want to show you something tangible here and how systems can tangibly help you achieve your goals. Now, here's some other examples of systems that you could potentially apply for your own personal development. First, you have a mastermind. If you've ever done masterminds, you know how powerful they can be. It's where you get together with a group of people who are interested in personal growth and you help them achieve their goals. They help you achieve your goals. So that's a mastermind. Morning routine, that's also a system. Meal planning, you can start preparing your meals in advance and planning what you're going to eat throughout the week. That can be a really good system to eating healthier and getting on a diet. Workout schedule, like I used habit tracking, goal setting, budgeting system, and of course a learning journal, which I've talked about in previous videos, can be a really powerful system to learn more effectively. So these are some examples of systems, and now what I urge you to do is I urge you to actually create your own. So think of the goals that you have for yourself and start thinking, what systems could I put into place that would help me achieve these goals more effectively? Again, think of the spider creating a web. You want to make sure that you're not just trying to force yourself towards the goals, towards the changes you're trying to make. Instead, you're making your life easier by setting systems into place so that the goals and the changes you want to make, they begin to happen almost automatically. So here are some keys to using systems in your own life. Number one, you want to make sure to keep them simple and sustainable. Don't try to make a grandiose, giant, complex system, because the problem with that is they're not sustainable and they're gonna die because you can't actually keep them consistently working in your life. So make sure it's a simple and sustainable thing you can do on a daily basis or a weekly basis or whatever it is for you. Then you want to focus on systems that require minimal effort but provide massive leverage in return. For example, making my shake every morning required quite minimal effort from my part, but it provided a massive leverage point for me because it always helped me get like 1,000 calories in every morning after my gym session. Then you want to make sure that the system is actually aligned with the outcome you want. You want to make sure that it's actually helping you achieve what you want to achieve. If it's not, then you want to adjust the system accordingly. Okay, finally, here's the homework assignment for today. If you do the homework, you are going to become massively more consistent in your life. So here it is. Pick a goal, a 3-month goal that you want to achieve, and create a system to help you achieve it. Now, if you need help with creating a system around the goal that you've set for yourself, there's a link in the description to a system creation guide. It's completely free, and make sure to follow through and keep using the system throughout this 3-month period and see what happens. I guarantee that you'll achieve your goal faster than you think if you actually put a system in place that helps you to do so. That's the homework assignment. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and attention a lot. Thanks for watching until the end. And make sure to subscribe and leave a comment sharing your insights in the comments section. All right, that's all. See you in the next one. Take care.